Hello and welcome to this class. In this class, we're going to talk about Concord. Concord talks about the relationship between the subject and the verb in English sentences. There's always an agreement between the subject and the verb that are in a sentence. These agreements are what we're going to talk about in this class. There are many rules or many of these agreements, so we're going to look at some of them in this class. We already know what subject and verb are. The subject is a noun or pronoun which tells us what the sentence talks about. Subject is the noun or pronoun that tells us what the sentence talks about, while we know the verb as the action in the sentence. So we are looking at the relationship between verb and subjects in sentences or in English sentences. Number one of the agreements or the rules is that every subject must agree with a verb in number. This simply means that a singular subject must take a singular verb, while a plural subject must take a plural verb. Subjects must agree with a verb in number. Subject must agree with a verb in number. So when we have sentences like one book is here. One book is a singular subject, so it needs a singular verb, which is. Then we have two books. Two books are here. Two books is a plural subject, so it needs a plural verb, are. Now a quick trick. In English, most plural subjects end with S. We have books, we have tables, we have houses, we have boys, we have girls, but most singular verbs end with S. We have is, talks, walks, eats, sees. Plural subjects, plural singular verb, singular verb. We have books, chairs, houses, etc. But for singular verb, they take S, while their plural do not take S. So we have is, we have has, we have walks, we have eats. So many of them that have S attached to them as the last letter, they are singular verb. But when a subject ends with S, it is considered plural. When a verb ends with s, most of the times it is considered singular. Almost all of them are singular. Then almost all the subjects that end with s are plural. So just know the difference. Okay, so that's the rule number 1. Then rule number 2. Rule number 2, it states that the number of the subject will not change due to words or phrases in between the subject and the verb. This is very important. The number of the subject will not change due to the words or phrases in between the subject and the verb. Now look at these examples. If you have one of my students is here. One of my students is here. What we have is one. So this phrase of my students, which is lying in between this one and is, they do not change the agreement between the subject and the verb. So we have one, we are talking about singular subject here. So this of my students, it cannot change the verb that will go with this initial subject here. So that is why it is. Somebody that does not know this rule may look at this students, which is plural here, and take a plural verb, and the person will fail it. So the first subject, which is the main subject in the sentence, it will go with the verb that matches it, irrespective of what comes in between it and the verb. So this of my students is something that comes in between the subject and the verb. So it does not recognize this thing that comes between it and the verb. Let me give you another example. Another example is 10 boys with a girl are here. 10 boys with a girl are here. Now the main subject is 10 boys, and it is a plural subject. so it must need a plural verb. Now we have with a girl. So this thing is something that is coming in between the main subject and the verb. So it does not recognize it. So we are not going to consider with a girl. So we take this main subject and create a relationship between it and the verb. So the relationship should be plural because the main subject is plural. So that is why it is are here. 10 boys with a girl are here. A boy, another example. A boy with some girls. A boy with some girls is here. A boy, this is the main subject. This is coming in between it. A boy with some girls is here. A boy with some girls is here. Okay, this is rule number 2. That anything that comes in between the main subject and the verb should not be considered in creating agreement between the subject and the verb. Rule number 3. Rule number 3. It states that subjects that are joined with and use plural verb. Subjects that are joined with and, they use a plural verb. Subjects that are joined with and use a plural verb. Example 1. Obi and Ada are here because the Obi and Ada, the two subjects, they are joined with and, so it takes a plural verb. Pen and pencil are stationaries. There are so many of them. Any two subjects that are connected with and, they take a plural verb. Number 4 is that subjects that are joined with either or and neither nor, it uses a singular verb. Subjects that are joined with either or and neither nor use a singular verb. Example: either pen or pencil, either pen or pencil is needed. Either pen or pencil is needed. The two subjects, pen and pencil, are connected with either or. So the verb that is needed must be a singular verb, which is. Another example, neither pen nor pencil is needed. So if we are using either or neither nor, this verb to use is singular. But in rule number 5, when one of the subjects is plural, when we have different subjects, different natures of the subjects, then the rule will change small. The verb must agree with the nature of the closest subjects. That is when one of the subjects is plural while the other one is singular. In these ones here, pen is singular and pencil is singular. But when maybe the pen is singular and pencil is plural, the rule will change. This rule applies only when the two subjects are singular. But if one of the subjects is plural, the rule will change. And the new rule is that the verb agrees with the nature of the closest subjects. Number 5, if two subjects are joined, with either or and neither nor, the verb agrees with the closest subjects if one of the subjects is plural. So in these examples, look at these examples. Either laptop or phones. Are needed to study here. Either laptop or phones. So the closest subject to the verb is plural, that is phones. So it needs a plural verb, which is are. Either laptop or phones are needed to study here. Example 2. Neither books nor pen is needed is needed to study here. To study here. Neither books nor pen. The closest subject is pen. So it takes singular verb, which is. That is rule number 5. Then another rule is that number 6, that nouns that naturally end with s take a singular verb, like our mathematics, civics, economics. These subjects naturally end with s. That's their nature. Anytime you want to write them, you must put the s. So they take singular verb. They are considered singular and they take singular verb. Nouns that naturally end with s take a singular verb. Example, mathematics is simple. Mathematics is easy to understand. It's easy to understand. Mathematics is easy to understand. Mathematics, even though it ends with s, it takes a singular verb, which is. Civics is a good subject. Economics is for art students. So all these nouns, they end with s, but they take singular verb because naturally they end with s. The next rule is that sentences that start with a lot of, all of, some of, the verb agrees with the number of the subjects. This is very tricky and you must pay attention to understand it. For sentences 7, for sentences that start with a lot of, all of, and some of. We see that the verb agrees with the number. The verb agrees with the number of the subjects. Now example, when we have this sentence, a lot of girls are here. A lot of girls are here. The subject is this, girls. It is a plural subject, so it takes a plural verb. A lot of girls are here. Now, but when we have a lot of the cake is, sorry, let me write it somewhere else. Okay, when we have a lot of the cake is gone. Now look at this, a lot of. So once we see a lot of, we look at the subject. If it is plural, it must take a plural verb. If it is singular, it must take a singular verb. Now this is cake, a singular subject, so it must take a singular verb. A lot of the cake is gone. A lot of the girls, a lot of girls are here. Next one, all of the boys are here. All of the boys are here, but all of the cake is gone. The mistake a lot of people make is that once they see all of, they think that so many things are involved and therefore they must use a plural verb. It is not like that. It must agree with the subject. All of. You look at the subject. If at the end you have a singular subject, you must use a singular verb. If you have a plural subject, you must use a plural verb. So we have all of the cake is gone. Cake here is singular, so it takes a singular verb. Then the next one there is some of. Some of the cakes are gone. Some of the cakes are gone. The subject is plural, so it takes a plural verb. Now, but some of the cake is gone. Here, the subject is singular, so it takes a singular verb. But here, the subject is plural, so it takes a plural verb. There are other agreements in this Concord, but let's just stop here and discuss this.